Welcome to KMUZ Theatre Talk. I'm your host, Ed Schoaps, bringing you news and in-depth interviews about plays and auditions happening at theaters throughout the mid-Willamette Valley. My first guests on today's program are director Steven Munshaw and actors Lily Walsh and Kieley Jarnagan from the Chemeketa Community College Theater Under the Stars production of Mean Girls, the musical, playing at the Gerry Frank Amphitheater in Salem's Riverfront Park, July 7th through 12th. And in the third half of today's program, I'll talk with director Bob Barnett and actors Scott Ramp and Jennifer Killikelli from the Neil Simon Farce Rumors, running at Pentacle Theatre June 26th through July 18th. But first, let's check the KMUZ Theatre Talk calendar for news about shows and auditions happening at your favorite mid-Willamette Valley theaters. For the McMinnville and Newburgh area theaters, at Gallery Theatre in downtown McMinnville, Steel Magnolias, an enduring story of female friendship told with an irresistible mix of laughter and tears, plays July 24th through August 16th at Gallery Theatre. Check our next KMUZ Theatre Talk program on July 3rd for my interview with director Leslie Inman and two actors from the show. Candor and Webb's enduring hit musical Cabaret will come to Gallery's main stage September 4th through 27th. It's directed by Seth Rennie. For show information and tickets, go to gallerytheater.org and Facebook. At Penguin Productions in Newburgh, Sense and Sensibility is this summer's outdoor production running July 23rd through August 8th. Playwrights Roger Parsley and Alan Graham have streamlined Jane Austen's beloved novel into a fast-moving adaptation that retains all the delicate irony, spirit, and romance of the original, perfect for an enchanting summer evening among the hazelnut trees. For show information and tickets, go to the Penguins On Stage website or their Facebook page. At the Greater Salem area theaters, at Children's Educational Theater in Salem, Performance Week for CET's elementary and high school students runs July 17th through 24th. Keep your eyes on the CET Facebook page and cetsalem.org for the show's lineup announcement and performance dates. At Kaiser Homegrown Theater, continuing through June 28th at Kaiser Homegrown Theater is Aaron Posner's dark comedy JQA, directed by J. Gibson King. Complicated, passionate, and difficult, John Quincy Adams was a brilliant diplomat, a congressman known for his eloquence, arrogance, and integrity, and an ineffectual one-term president. Posner's unique, highly theatrical play imagines key confrontations between Adams and some of America's most dynamic figures. At once provocative, haunting, and hilarious, this power play challenges the way we think about our country, our government, and ourselves. Check out the KMUZ Theatre Talk podcast for my interview with director J. Gibson King and actors Jessica Peterson and Rick Sanders from JQA. A Midsummer Night's Dream, directed by Linda Baker, plays July 16th through 18th at the Kaiser's Elk Club backyard. Linda joins me on the July 3rd KMUZ Theatre Talk program to fill us in about Shakespeare's magical and timeless summer story. For show information and tickets, go to kaiserhomegrowntheater.org and their Facebook page. At Pentacle Theatre in Salem, the Neil Simon comedy farce Rumors takes the Pentacle stage June 26th through July 18th. As their 10th wedding anniversary party starts, Charlie Brock lies bleeding in his bedroom, and his wife Myra is nowhere in sight. The first guests, lawyer Ken Gorman and his wife Chris, scramble to get the story straight before more friends arrive. But as confusion, miscommunications, and rumors mount, the evening spins off into classic Neil Simon farcical hilarity. Rumors is directed by Robert Barnett, who joins me later in today's program with two actors from the show. On the Pentacle Theatre call board, open auditions for Angel Street, also known as Gaslight, by Patrick Hamilton, will happen at 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. July 18th at Pentacle's downtown rehearsal studio at 197 Liberty Street Southeast. The show is directed by Gregory Jolivet and runs October 2nd through 24th. See the pentacletheater.org website and Facebook page for tickets and show and audition information. Struts and Frets Theatre Company will bring Shakespeare's Twelfth Night to Monmouth's Main Street Park stage August 6th through 9th and 13th through 15th. We'll talk with director Hannah Fawcett in our mid-July KMUZ Theatre Talk program, so mark your calendar. See the Struts and Frets Facebook and Instagram pages for more information about Twelfth Night and where to get tickets. Theater 33's 13th Annual Summer New Play Festival is coming August 4th through 16th at Willamette University. This summer's shows celebrating Northwest playwrights include Lights in the Sky by Ricky Zipp, a political satire about the blindness of power and the violent choice that human beings decide to make. Pull by Sarah Jean Acquardi. A group of teachers attend a gun safety training program designed for educators planning to arm themselves in the classroom. Bewitch by Rob Smith. All Kendra has ever wanted to be is a witch. Sadly, her magic, with a K, doesn't make for the most solid career. The festival's pop-up plays include Crumbs, or Migas, by Rebecca Torino Collingsworth. 15 years after two hungry children are orphaned during a Latin American coup, they return, a modern-day Hansel and Gretel, to follow what migas they can in search of their father. Prodigies by Brooke Bethnal. When a new talented competitor appears at an annual youth piano contest, 4 other students question their own competency and ability to keep up with the growing demands of being a prodigy. Majnun by Layli Rohani. Nearly a year after her mother passed, Asal is depressed, fed up, and still grieving. She decides to finish a painting she's been working on since her mother's death, only to find it has taken on a life of its own. Majnun is a story of family, grief, and finding our way to lost loves. Con by Curtis Fry. As the first federal constitutional convention since the original descends on Washington, D.C., the city transforms into a high-stakes shit show. Theater 33's Susan Coramel and Thomas Nabhan will return to KMUZ Theatre Talk on July 17th to fill us in about their 13th anniversary New Plays Festival. See the Theater 33 Facebook page and theater33.org to reserve your Summer Festival 2026 tickets. For the Stayton and Silverton area theaters, at Brush Creek Playhouse in Silverton, The School Marm's Matrimony Mayhem plays July 24th through August 9th. At long last, lovely school marm Molly Dewdrop will finally marry her handsome fiancé, Biff Baxter. But their arch-enemy, Blackie LaRoche, will stop at nothing to sabotage the wedding and win Molly as his bride. And so will Badlands' Brenda Baxter, who has designs on Biff. Will the wedding happen? Will Blackie and Brenda succeed in their evil schemes? Can Molly and Biff get hitched without a hitch? There's only one way to find out. Go to brushcreekplayhouse.org and their Facebook page for show and ticket information. At Spotlight Community Theater in downtown Stayton, there's a costume sale taking place June 26th, 27th, and 28th. All costumes are from a private costume collection donated to Spotlight. This collection has decades of well-cared-for costume pieces, making it perfect for anyone looking to start building their costume lot or add to their existing collection. For more information, go to Spotlight's Facebook page and spotlightct.com. For the Albany and Corvallis area theaters, at Albany Civic Theater, A Midsummer Night's Dream comes to the ACT stage July 10th through 25th. It's directed by Arlene Olson. For show information and tickets, go to albanycivic.org and Facebook. At the Mid-Valley Musical Theater in Albany, the classic Broadway musical Guys and Dolls runs August 6th through 15th. For show information and tickets, go to mvmtheater.org and Facebook. At the Majestic Theater in Corvallis, a Reader's Theater production of The Diary of Anne Frank takes place June 27th and 28th. That's followed by an outdoor production of Shakespeare's Macbeth at the Bruce Starker Arts Park. The show is directed by Arlene Olson. On the Majestic Theater call board, Open auditions for Miss Holmes by Christopher M. Walsh and based on the characters by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle happen 6:30 p.m. July 6th through 7th at the theater. It's directed by Melissa Gutierrez and runs September 25th through August 4th. For show information, tickets, and audition details, go to majestic.org. At the Mid-Valley Colleges and Universities, Chemeketa Community College's Theater Under the Stars is staging the rock musical Mean Girls with book by Tina Fey, lyrics by Neil Benjamin, and music by Jeff Richmond, July 7th through 12th at the Gerry Frank Amphitheater in Salem's Riverfront Park. It's directed by Steven Munshaw, who joins me later in today's program along with actors Lily Walsh and Kieley Jarnagan to talk about this popular Broadway hit musical. For tickets, go to eventbrite.com and search for Mean Girls, the musical, at the Gerry Frank Amphitheater in Salem. And that's a wrap for today's KMUZ Theatre Talk calendar. Joining me next are director Steven Munshaw and actors Lily Walsh and Kieley Jarnagan to take a deep dive into Mean Girls, the musical, coming to Salem's Riverfront Park July 7th through 12th. That's headed your way right after this short break. Hey, it's Ed Schoaps here, host of the KMUZ Theatre Talk program and podcast. KMUZ FM is the Mid-Willamette Valley's all-volunteer, nonprofit, community-funded radio station. We depend on listeners like you and on businesses throughout the Mid-Willamette Valley to help keep KMUZ FM on the air and KMUZ Theatre Talk coming your way. It's super easy to give what you can. Just go to kmuz.org, click the donate button, and become a sustaining donor or make a one-time contribution that fits your budget. And thank you for supporting KMUZ Theatre Talk and your all-volunteer, community-funded radio station. Tina Fey is a very talented person. She's not only been a star on Saturday Night Live, but she's had numerous successes on television media. But one of the best and most fun things that she did was write a play and a musical called Mean Girls. This musical plays July 7th through 12th at the Gerry Frank Amphitheater at Salem's Riverfront Park. My guests here are director Steven Munshaw and actors Lily Walsh and Kieley Jarnagan. Welcome to KMUZ Theatre Talk, everyone.
Hey, so good to connect with you again, Ed.
Yeah, it's nice to have you back, too. So, Chemeketa Community College Theater Under the Stars is bringing yet another well-loved production to the Gerry Frank Amphitheater. Steven, what possessed you to bring a huge cast like this to the stage again?
Well, the Gerry Frank Amphitheater is such a great venue. It's a massive space, and when it was built, I said to myself, we have to do musicals on this stage. It's perfect, and there's nothing more delightful than actually doing a show under the stars when the sun is setting and it's beautiful, and it's the best time to be in Salem, Oregon. It's such a lovely time and a lovely space. And in order to do musicals that are going to kind of work with that space, you have to do something that's going to be fun and entertaining and lighthearted and things that people love to see, that want to see, So it really wasn't that difficult to kind of land on Mean Girls and say, well, this would be a perfect show for the Gerry Frank this year.
Many people may not be aware of this, but your company from the Chemeketa Community College, the Theater Under the Stars company, has to literally move in and move off the stage for every performance.
Well, yes and no. I mean, that's what we've done in previous years just because of the amount of bookings at that space. This year, we were able to secure several days in a row. And so what we've been able to do is load in on a Monday, and we're going to be up the entire week until Sunday when we load out. So not so much setting up and tearing down this year, thank goodness.
That's fantastic, because I know in past interviews when we talked about it, that's been one of the really big challenges. It's like it's like having roadies every night put the show up.
Right.
So
right. And we have like full lighting and sound and orchestra and and sets and costume tents and all kinds of things. And it really is a huge effort to put this on.
Well, I'm glad to hear that this year is going to be a little easier on the tech side. Tell me a little bit about the staging of this musical. Of course, it tells a pretty involved story with lots of different locations. How are you managing that on the outdoor stage?
Well, number one, you have to wait and see. But because of the quick load in, and we basically have one day to do our load in, dress rehearsal, tech all in the same night, so we got one chance in it before we actually open. And so it really does prohibit complex staging at this point. At some point, I would love to see this being done, multiple weeks. But right now, we just kind of have to work within really portable staging, things that we can flip and maneuver, and we can set up very quickly and build it at Chemeketa and then move everything in. So it's kind of a plug and play is what we endeavor to do.
Just so folks know, my wife Susan is involved in this show too. She's the costumer.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
We are getting daily deliveries here of costume pieces, little like personal prop kind of things, and it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, it's fun.
Lily, you're playing Katie Heron, who is kind of the fulcrum around which this whole play revolves. Tell me a little bit about who Katie is and her journey in the first part of the show.
Something that I really loved to discover in playing Katie is that she's a character who she is still figuring out who she is. So it's been a really interesting approach as an actor to come to this character where me as an actor, I'm trying to find my way in to a character who also is finding her way in to this whole new environment. It's very much a like fish out of water kind of scenario. She's never been to a public high school. She's brand new to the United States. She's being thrown into this culture that she does not understand and very quickly has to navigate all of these different social cues, all the different cliques. So it's been really fun is figuring out how to find the journey of where she starts the show and then where she ends the show are very, very different. And following that character journey has been lots of fun in rehearsal.
Well, this play takes place in a high school setting, and Katie is the central focus of the show. And Kieley, your character is Regina George.
Yes.
And this girl, this girl really is like the quintessential mean girl that we all remember from our high school trauma. I mean, high school years. Tell me a little bit about who Regina George is and her relationship with Katie.
Just what you were saying. She is that stereotypical mean girl. She is one of the first people that Katie meets and really changes her perspective on high school. Regina has always been, she was raised being able to have all the control. So that is just the type of person that she is. And meeting Katie kind of threw her into a whirlwind of sorts, where this new girl is coming into her playing field, into her world, and kind of throwing it off. So this whole show, she is just trying to find a way back to gain back her control so she can continue to be that queen bee that we all know as Regina George.
Well, Steven, this show begins with some characters talking directly to the audience. That fourth wall is being broken, and they tell everyone that this is a cautionary tale. Talk to me a little bit about the overall journey of the characters in this show, without revealing too much at the end, where this whole plot is headed.
The show starts off with Damien and Janice kind of introducing the audience to this high school drama setting. Think of it like it's almost like Grease revisited, and so I think that there's a lot of parallels with a show that was done 50 years ago with this particular show. There's a lot of parallels. The difference is there's a huge social media piece. And social media has affected all of us, and particularly young people that are dealing with high school issues. And it talks about the power of the destructive nature of social media, what could happen in groups of people that can be extremely vicious and maybe not self-controlled in this particular show. I think and I think because of that, that's why it starts with this idea of this is a cautionary tale. And if we let social media get out of hand, it can really become very destructive in our lives. And so it does tackle these really important issues in high school at this time in our history. And I think it's really important. It raises a lot of important questions. It does offer answers. There's a really good feel-good piece in it that at the end of the day, we are all very important people and we all bring what we do to our community and need to be recognized for contributing to that community. So it's a really powerful message. And the more that the girls and I are diving into this, the more exciting it becomes as you delve into characters and look at the talented writing that was done with this team.
Well, Lily, as your character, Katie Hernan, is an outsider, talk about your first impression of the girl clique, the Plastics, and meeting Regina for the first time. What is Katie's impression of her and the group, and where does she want to go with it?
So sort of the first people that she meets in the high school setting are Janice and Damien, who are sort of her like tour guides through high school. There's this number, Where Do You Belong? Where the two of them kind of lead her through all of the different cliques. They're like, these are the mathletes. You don't want to hang out with them because they're the nerds and they're the ones who everyone bullies. And there's like the band geeks. It's kind of the same thing. And then we get to the Plastics, and the two of them completely, again, like caution her against them. They are dangerous. They are mean. That's kind of the message that's being given to her because there's some history between Janice and Regina specifically. Mm-hmm. But Katie's first impression is like, I actually think Regina's kind of cool and she's actually really nice to me. And there's this boy who's acting up around her and Regina like totally protects her. So there's sort of the difference between what Katie is being told about Regina, like she's dangerous, she's mean, you don't want to be friends with her, versus her initial impression, which is like, she does find her cool and she does want to have that genuine friendship. And I do think that's something I really love about Katie is like when she first gets into this setting, she has so much information that's being thrown at her about what she should believe. But I think that at her core, she knows what she wants to believe. And that might be different than what she's being told.
Kieley as Regina, the queen bee of the Plastics. What is Regina's first impression of Katie, and where does that take her?
Her first impression is, this is someone new. I know everyone. I'm aware of what is happening on, this is my playground of sorts. And Katie is brand new, and Regina doesn't necessarily know how to go about it right away until she notices that other people are interacting with her, such as that boy that Lily just brought up, where she is getting noticed by people. She is disturbing this food chain of sorts. And she kind of takes her under her wing in a way, because she understands that if she doesn't, then something could get thrown off, that she may no longer be on top, or people might start talking about her more often than Regina. You know, it's all about control is the bottom line for her. So, I mean, towards the end, she finds that love, but at the very beginning, it is all about that control.
Are you experienced at playing a mean girl? I mean, do you have your own inner, is there an inner voice?
So, I got to speak in here because this character is very, very far away from who Kieley is. Kieley is amazing. She's got such a beautiful, sweet, soft heart. And then she's got to pull in this like evil villain character. It's fun for sure. But these guys, both of them are very talented. They both have been involved in the Willamette University theater program, and
Mhm.
Lily just graduated from that program. So very talented people
Yay!
here.
Well, and as an actor and director myself, I know that directors are looking for actors that can dive deep into their characters, and actors
Mhm.
are always looking for something internal that can help guide them. And I think from what Stephen just said, I agree. It's a lot of fun to play the villain in a
Yeah.
story.
Yes.
It's more fun to do that than to be the hero. And without giving up too much, I think, Lily, your character's transition from a total outsider to being a clique leader is something that is fantastic in this show. How do you relate to that as an actor, and where do you get that impetus from?
Oh, yeah. The thing about Katie is she is, for the most part, trying to do the right thing. She sort of is walking this balance between her friendship with the plastics and her friendship with Janice and Damien. And once she sort of steps into that leadership role, that's when things kind of spiral out of control for her. What happens towards the end of Act One is that she really does like take over and is seen as the leader rather than Regina. And then once she's in that position, she realizes, oh, I initially only wanted to be a part of the plastics to essentially spy on them and sort of get this like inside information. But what she
Mhm.
realizes is she actually does enjoy having that power, especially because it's sort of related to this ongoing theme in the show of how she relates the school social dynamics to the animals in the jungle. So she compares Regina to the apex predator, a lion. And so once Katie sort of steps into that, she finds that control and she enjoys it and enjoys it a little bit too much. And that's sort of when things kind of start to go a little bit off the rails. But I do think at the center of it, she knows what she wants. And sometimes she has some missteps. But yeah, it's a really interesting character journey for her.
Well, Kylie, what do you think the most important part of Regina's journey through the show is?
I think without giving too much away is just her arc through the show. One of my favorite things about playing villains, because I think this is maybe my third character this year where I've played a morally gray character in a way. But I think my favorite part of it is trying to find that humanity, because there is this big thing where people see Regina as this plastic, as this apex predator, as this person on a higher like platform than everyone else that's invincible. But being able to find that real human like rawness within her and being able to bring that to the stage and being able to see that character development towards the end where you really do see that Regina is just a human. She is just 16 years old who is trying to figure out her spot in the food chain alongside everyone else.
And is there a moment in the play that you really look forward to in rehearsal?
I think the ending bit where Regina does talk with Katie after I don't want to spoil what Mean Girls is, but after the incident. But at the end, it is just I don't know, it is one of those moments where you see Regina actually understanding that she she has done some bad things. She has done some bad things and she understands that she needs to change, but all she was trying to do is survive. And I think it's a beautiful moment between her and Katie.
So that's Regina's moment of redemption.
Mhm.
Lily, what about Katie's moment of redemption?
It's also like at the very end, she has this moment where she does have to make a choice between protecting herself versus protecting the people around her. In the show,
Mhm.
there's this burn book where they write down some true and also not true things about other people. And there's this moment where one of the things that she wrote down really does affect someone's life. And she has this line where she says, "I will try to be fearless." And she admits to having written this thing about another person, and she has to watch this person, it's her teacher, Miss Norbury, go through this moment of like, she realizes what she has said and what she has done has deeply affected someone's life. And she has that moment of like, things have sort of boiled over, and now she has the chance to go back and to say, I know that this will get me in trouble, and I know that there will be consequences, but she does have to make that sort of sacrifice play in order to help her teacher. And I just think that's a really wonderful moment.
We talked a little bit about a moment at the end of the play, but I want to ask both you, Kieley and Lily, is there a moment or is there a scene in the play just between your two characters that is a lot of fun that you look forward to?
Ooh.
And you could each have a different one. I don't care. That's up to you.
I think for me, maybe it's just like right on the top of my mind right now, but Apex Predator is one of my favorite numbers. And I know we have like a small interaction in it, but it is so funny because okay, for those who don't know, I am 5'10", and Lily, I don't know if you want me to share your height, but
go ahead.
Lily is 4'11", so we have a big height difference. And there is one line where I tell her that I'm going to buy her heels because she needs more shoes, but she also needs more height. And it is just the silliest line to me because of just our big dramatic height difference that we have.
And what about you, Lily? Is there a moment with Kieley that you look forward to?
Yeah, I mean, I was also going to say Apex Predator. I love those moments. And what I think is so special about theater is like, we are reading a script that was written even with or without certain people in mind to play those characters. But I love those moments where something that has been written is made funnier by the people who are playing it in that specific production.
Mm-hmm.
But I love Apex Predator. It's such a fun number. The whole cast embodies the like jungle animals that Katie envisions. And that one's just so much fun to rehearse and to sing. So, yeah.
Well, Steven, this show is filled with a lot of fun music, terrific costumes, a lot of interaction and great dancing. When you were thinking about all of the shows that you could produce for this summer's Theater Under the Stars, why did you pick this particular show?
It's a very popular show right now. It was on Broadway in 2018 and garnished many nominations. And it was just released for production in the last year. But I think what we wanted to do was really connect with a younger audience as well, and connect them with something that was familiar. We've done some classical musicals in the last 2 years. We did Mary Poppins last year and Oliver the year before. And so this year, I wanted to kind of take a departure from some of those classical musicals and really kind of bring it up to current. There's a lot of things that are happening in our country, in our world right now. And although we wanted to kind of talk about things like bullying and some of the harder issues, we also wanted to have some fun. And we just wanted to have moments of lightheartedness. I tell you, some of the characters that we have in this cast will make you laugh out loud. It is fun and funny. And Damien is played by Murphy Bell, who just hits it out of the park. Janice is played by Lavender, who is just phenomenal. She's going off to New York. We're going to miss her, and she's enrolling in school out there. So anyway, it's there's just a number of really beautiful themes that are going to be addressing a younger audience, and we hope and trust that we're going to get some interest in that area.
Chemeketa Community College is presenting its Theater Under the Stars production of Mean Girls, the rock musical, with book by Tina Fey and choreography by Christopher Dean and Bree Graham. It plays July 7th through 12th at the Gerry Frank Amphitheater in Salem's Riverfront Park. I've been talking with Steven Munshaw, who's directing the show, and actors Lily Walsh and Kieley Jarnagan. And thank you, Steven, Lily, and Kieley, for joining me here on today's KMUZ Theatre Talk.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coming up next, I'll talk with director Bob Barnett and actors Scott Ramp and Jennifer Killikelli from the Neil Simon Farce Rumors, running at Pentacle Theatre June 26th through July 18th. We'll be right back after this. It's Ed Schoaps here, host of KMUZ Theatre Talk. Now, I know you love hearing about shows and auditions at your favorite mid-Willamette Valley theaters, or you wouldn't be listening to KMUZ Theatre Talk right now. That's why I'm asking you to go to kmuz.org today and hit the donate button to support KMUZ Theatre Talk and your all-volunteer, commercial-free, nonprofit community radio station. Help us keep the lights on and the transmitter humming. Make a one-time donation or become a monthly sustaining donor, whatever fits your budget, at kmuz.org. And thanks a million for supporting KMUZ FM and KMUZ Theatre Talk. The Neil Simon comic farce Rumors is going to be on stage at Pentacle Theatre June 26th through July 18th. This is a crazy show. It's a ton of fun. It takes place in the late 80s in New York, and if you think that sitcoms are wild, this Neil Simon farce is something else. My guests today are Bob Barnett, who's the director of the show, Scott Ramp, and Jen Killikelli, who are two actors. Welcome to KMUZ Theatre Talk, you guys.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
So, Bob, Neil Simon wrote a lot of plays. This is a particular favorite of mine for a couple of different reasons, not the least of which is it's damn funny. So tell me about this being your choice on the Pentacle Theatre season.
Well, I've done about 8 or 10 Neil Simons over the years. I first came across Rumors in about 2005 when I was cast as Ernie in a production up in Washington. And the interesting thing about this script that really drew me to it is the fact that it was hysterically funny right from reading it. Plays are meant to be seen and heard. They're not meant to be read. And so very often you read a comedy and you think, it's okay. You know, you don't really laugh out loud when you're reading it. But if you see something and listen to it, it can be very, very funny. This play was hysterically funny while I was reading it. I was laughing out loud many, many times during it. And even after 4 weeks of rehearsal that we've had so far, I still am laughing out loud at things. It's a hysterically funny play. The pace is furious, and it's just a joy to watch and listen to.
So this play has survived decades. Have you thought about how to present this to today's modern audience?
It doesn't really set in any particular time period. I said it in 1989 because that's when the play was written, but there's nothing in the play that particularly sets it to a particular time other than a few props that, for example, there are no cell phones. We have a phone that has, that actually, a landline, things like that. But other than that, there's no references or anything that would make it very dated for today's audiences.
Scott Ramp, you're playing Lenny. Tell us a little bit about Lenny and the first thing that he notices when he comes to a party that he and his wife have been invited to.
The show starts with Ken and Chris, who are also guests, and they're the only ones there for the first few minutes. And then Lenny and Claire come, but like Bob said, so many things happen, and everything is a disaster. So when the show starts, Ken and Chris are trying to figure out exactly what's happening. And when Lenny and Claire get there, of course, they don't get there normally. They've just been in an auto accident. So Claire's lip is banged up. Lenny's seatbelt went around his neck and he's got whiplash. So it starts right out kind of crazy with them coming in injured.
And that was in his brand new BMW.
Brand new, only 12 miles on it.
Only 2 days old.
Right there, God help anybody that's been in that same situation. But this poor guy and his wife are going to learn a lot more that can go wrong.
Very quickly.
Jen, as Claire, talk a little bit about what your arc is in this story.
My arc is really showing my dedication to my friends and showing my relationship with my husband, who, we have a very long relationship. And then, if you know relationships that have lasted a long time, husbands can get trying. So
Lenny is trying.
Yes, we can.
So you get to see our dynamic in this show.
Well, Bob, this play opens the 10th anniversary party of the deputy mayor of New York.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the bedroom. You never see him. His wife is missing. Tell us a little bit more about this crazy plot that Neil Simon dreamed up.
Well, as you know, Neil Simon wrote many, many comedies before this. He's famous for, Barefoot in the Park, Come Blow Your Horn, The Odd Couple, Plaza Suite, London Suite, all kinds of comedies. But he said that this was his absolute first farce. And the difference between a farce and a regular comedy is that comedies focus a lot on the characters, but a farce focuses more on the situation. And in this particular situation, it's the 10th anniversary of Charlie and Myra Brock. As you said, Myra's missing, Charlie's upstairs, having been shot. Chris and Ken, the first guests who have arrived and start the show off, they're trying to deal with that, but they don't know what happened. And so they're speculating, starting to cause rumors about what might have happened. When the next guests arrive, they're trying to hide things, but that doesn't work very well. And more rumors get spread and more rumors get spread about, not only about what's happening to Charlie and Myra, but what's happening in each of the couples' lives as well.
So just to be clear, Charlie Brock is injured.
Yeah.
He's been shot in the ear. And that itself is it's kind of funny. It's kind of serious, but it's kind of funny too, because
exactly
the situation is like a whole other character in this show.
Mm-hmm.
It is a moving target, isn't it?
Yes, very much so. I was telling the cast when I first cast them that this play starts on a rate of 1 to 10, 10 being absolute panic stricken and 1 being absolute relaxation. The play starts at about an 8, maybe even a 9.
Oh yeah,
and it goes up a little bit more. It comes back down a little bit. Sometimes it goes all the way up to an 11. But the pace is absolutely frantic because they're just trying to figure out what happened and how to hide it from anybody else, because he's the deputy mayor of New York, and if the scandal gets out, it could ruin him and a lot of other lives as well.
For you as the director, what has been the biggest challenge in rehearsals, and how have you summited that?
Challenges for me is I'm a first-time director. I've directed some one-acts back in college, and I was assistant director on a few shows, most recently Arsenic and Old Lace here at Pentacle. But for me, the first challenge was casting, because I've always thought that if you cast well, then a lot of the director's job is already done, because the cast will bring it forward. And this cast has been absolutely amazing. Every single time I watch it, I'm finding that the characters are bringing in new things, new ideas. It really has been so much of a collaboration, because everybody's contributing things to the show that help enhance the comedy but also move it forward, because we don't want it to go too far. It has to be believable. The characters and the situation has to be believable, even though you're going to extremes. If you go too far, then it's in danger of becoming like a comedy sketch, and we don't want to do that. We want to keep it grounded in reality.
The language in this play is very, very New York.
Yeah.
I can't read this script or see this play without really wanting the language to reflect the times and also the culture of the city.
Mm-hmm. Some of that comes out in some of the ways people are speaking. Jen, for example, has a pretty good New York accent, but I didn't want to avoid going into thick New York accents, because these are all fairly wealthy, educated people. They probably would have dropped most of their accents over time, but they would come out here and there, and it definitely comes out here and there within the course of the play, especially as the panic rises and the situation gets more and more frantic. People's accents start coming out.
Yeah. And we tend to overlap and talk over each other like typical New Yorkers.
Yep.
Yeah. Lots of hand gestures.
Yes.
And raised voices.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Yeah.
This is kind of a loud play in addition to the pace. Scott, tell us a little bit about Lenny's biggest challenge in this story?
Oh my gosh. Well, Lenny has lots of challenges. The actor challenge, one of mine is simply the fact that I have to have whiplash through a good chunk of the first act. And that's, the way you hold your neck and your shoulders could cause you a little discomfort later on. But Lenny almost finishes the show with essentially a 2.5-page monologue because he has lost a contest with the other guys there because the cops are there and somebody has to pretend to be Charlie. And essentially Lenny gets the short straw, so to speak. And, of course, then when they can't calm the cops down quite enough, they eventually say, we better call Charlie. And they call up there and Lenny comes down and has to make up an entire story. And I'm actually having a blast with that.
Good.
That is a great speech. It puts together all the rumors into one almost plausible story.
Almost.
It is really a ton of fun. Jen, as Claire watches Lenny deal with all of his insecurities, his temper, and the craziness of this plot, what does Claire think about all of this? How is she handling the challenge?
Claire is feeling everything alongside Lenny. There is empathy, there's fear, there is absolute love, and there's frustration. I mean, she's right beside him and rooting for him along the way.
Bob, there are lots of other characters in this show. Who are they, and who are the actors that are playing them?
Well, we start off with Ken and Chris, played by Ryan Snyder and Sarah Chasen. Then Lenny and Claire are the first guests to arrive after Ken and Chris have been dealing with that, and of course that's Scott and Jen. After that, we have Ernie and Cookie. Ernie is an analyst, a psychiatrist, and his wife, Cookie, hosts a cooking show, and they're played by Chris Alderetti and Laura McDonald. And then the final guests to show up are Glenn and Cassie Cooper. Glenn is running for state senate, and he and his wife are having some problems when they show up. But one of the things I love about this show is that all the couples have been together for a fairly long period of time. I'm still thinking in my mind that Charlie and Myra might be the newest married couple, the youngest together. But all these couples, even though they're frustrated with each other and sometimes snap at each other, there's still love. It's still loving there. There's not a whole lot of hate. The closest we come is Glenn and Cassie because they're having problems, but even that gets resolved by the end. So the relationships between these characters and watching how the actors developed that over time and how they're dealing with it has just been absolutely marvelous to watch. This directing has been a very eye-opening experience for me. We talked about the guests, but we also have 2 police officers that come in near the end of the show investigating the car accident that Lenny's BMW is in. And the two police officers are played by Todd Logan and Vanessa Fisher.
Farces really depend on a good set that acts as almost another character. Tell us about the setting for this show.
I wanted to focus so much on the characters and the situation itself. The men are all in tuxedos, so basically white and black. The ladies, for the most part, 3 of them come in very elegant colored evening dresses, beautiful colors, but a little on the muted side. And then Cookie, as a very eccentric character, comes in a 60-year-old Russian dress from her grandmother. But as far as the set goes, I wanted that to not to distract from the play or the characters. And so I really had an idea that I wanted to keep it mostly black and white and some chrome. And so I really wanted to focus not to be on the set in this case. So I wanted to keep it mostly white and black with a splash of color here and there. For example, 2 Dozen Roses will show up because it's the anniversary.
Scott, we talked about Lenny's monologue near the end of the show. Are there other moments that you really look forward to, or is there a special moment that you look forward to every night in rehearsal?
Oh, I absolutely have a blast because I am the oldest in the cast, but I also am probably the most physical in the fact that I go up and down the stairs more times than anybody else does. And we have, of course, you mentioned the set. Chris Benham, our technical director, decided to build the walls, make stud walls, which, if you know anything about buildings, I mean, those are super sturdy because, it's a farce. A lot of doors opening and shutting. And then we have a swinging door on the kitchen. So there's a lot of fun that we're going to be able to play with there. But I love all of the ups, downs. And then I've got several phone calls too. Several of us have phone calls, and those are all, I mean, it's just like in, out, up, down, it's crazy. And it's just fun to do. It builds like any good farce does, and it builds and builds, and in Act 1, and then Act 2, takes place just a little bit later, and then that builds and gets crazy. So it's fun to do, and I'm having so much fun because every other single actor is just so much fun to work with. And Bob is just wonderful to have around. And he has the best laugh I think I've ever, of anybody. And so if he finds something funny, it's going to be, that's great. And that's always a nice, because we don't know it. At Pentacle, that's one of the downsides is we don't know until we have an audience where all our laughs are. We think we do, but with this, who knows? Somebody may laugh at an expression or a movement or something. We have no idea. So this will be our biggest challenge, I think.
Jen, what is something that you look forward to when you are on your way to rehearsal?
Claire absolutely loves her gossip, and she loves to hear it, and she loves to spread it. And there's some really good scenes in this show where Claire is the giver and receiver of the gossip. So those are the scenes I look forward to the most.
And all of the women in this show have time together as a group, right? They're friends. They discuss things. What's the attitude of the women compared to the men in this show, Jen?
I think the closest relationships to start is Claire and Chris. And I think there's a little bit of strain in Claire's relationship with Cookie, which evolves over time. And Claire's relationship with Cassie, I don't think it ever changes. It doesn't start on a good foot. It doesn't really end on a good foot.
Cassie's a bit of an outsider.
Yeah.
Cassie is the youngest and the newest of the group, and she's uncomfortable in that, and it shows.
Yeah, and Claire's not very good at welcoming her in either.
Well, everybody has their challenges in this show, not the least of which are the stairs and the relationships that you have with your peers. So there's some tension in this show, and I think that's really important for a farce. Bob, what do you hope the audience is going to take away from this show?
I just want them to have a good time. I just want them to forget any problems that they might be having and come to our theater and laugh outrageously for 2 hours and forget everything else.
Is there a message behind all of this that you hope is going to come through?
Not really. Sometimes a play doesn't necessarily, have to have a message or other than, not good to spread rumors about people. But other than that, it's just a damn good time.
And Scott and Jen, what do you hope that the audience really appreciates in the ensemble of this show?
I hope they appreciate the humor and the pace. I hope they recognize, and if they're familiar with the 80s, if they can feel some of what it was like to live back then, and some of the struggles that I guess we had with communication being limited to landlines.
And I'm sure they're also going to take away, some people that know some of us will get it. But even with people that don't know any of the actors, they're going to get a good sense of the camaraderie because we play well together, even if we're yelling at each other. It's a good, cohesive group. Bob's right. I think the biggest thing for this is, in today's world, boy, I tell you, we need a good laugh. And this should send you away with your stomach hurting.
Yeah, and one of the great things about this kind of a farce is again, as Jen and Scott mentioned, is the pace. The pace is furious. It hardly lets up at all. It comes down a little bit to a more normal, breathable level a few times, but then it goes right back up again. And then, especially in Act 2, it starts off at a nice, easy pace. Everybody's kind of relaxing and taking it easy. And then it just starts getting worse and worse and worse. it's marvelous to have something that furious that doesn't let off and keeps the audience engaged the entire time and doesn't give them a chance to think about things too much.
Well, the Neil Simon comic Farce Rumors is at Pentacle Theatre June 26th through July 18th. You can get your tickets at pentacletheatre.org. This is one of Neil Simon's best. It's set in the home of Charlie Brock, who is celebrating his 10th wedding anniversary, but he's in his bedroom bleeding, and his wife Myra is nowhere in sight, and as the guests to this party arrive, chaos happens, rumors spread, and comedy comes right at the audience. Be ready, folks. You're going to have a blast, and you're going to be laughing all night long. I'd like to thank my guests, director Bob Barnett and actors Jen Killikelli and Scott Ramp for joining me here to talk about Rumors on KMUZ Theatre Talk.
Thanks for having us, Ed.
Thanks, Ed. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, Ed. It's been great.
It's time to wind up today's KMUZ Theatre Talk program. Thanks a million for listening and supporting our broadcast and podcast. KMUZ Theatre Talk comes your way at 9 a.m. the first and third Friday of the month on KMUZ 100.7 and 88.5 FM, also on KMWV FM Dallas at 98.3 HD2, and streaming worldwide at kmuz.org and on the KMUZ mobile app. If you'd like to share this program with your friends and hear more behind-the-curtain interviews, open your favorite podcast app and subscribe to KMUZ Theatre Talk. KMUZ Theatre Talk is proud to partner with the Mid-Valley Theatre Network and with Press Play Salem. I'll be back July 3rd with a brand new KMUZ Theatre Talk program and podcast. And until then, I'll see you in the front row.